All right, another day, another sell-off. It's crazy out here for y'all bulls, man. It's crazy. But let's just get into the market, see what's happening, and see where we could find some possible support. Okay. We are at this level right now. Remember, I was letting you guys know right here, we break this level. Where are we going to head? Down to the 675 and down to the 665. 675 didn't hold, and then we're now testing the 665 area. If that level doesn't hold, the next level we have is going to be the 160 moving average. That is the next important level to watch if we cannot hold the support right here. However, I do believe if you start seeing some reversal in this area, we could get a pushback higher and retest the 20 moving average. At some point, we are going to have some kind of rebound. I don't know how aggressive the rebound is going to be, but it is coming. All right. It is going to come at some point. However, again, I mean, nothing is definite in the market. Market could continue to drop lower and we could test these levels again. And these are the levels that we broke out of. These are the levels that we had issue in last year. And these are the levels that we broke out of in April. We broke out and we just took off. Okay. So naturally, if we are pulling back, you would look for some kind of pullback in this area. This is the trouble area. And if we zoom out, you'll see, right? This is the area that we traded for a long time in, for weeks, for months. Just couldn't break this level from 2025, the end of 2025. And we finally broke out in this year, a few months ago, in April, right? So if we are going to continue higher, you want to watch these levels, and this level has to hold because it's an important level. If we can't hold this level, then the bears are definitely in control, and we are going to, damn, cannot draw an arrow for nothing. We're going to head back down into these areas, right? But for now, like I've been saying, the long-term or overall trend is still bullish. So until we flip and until the moving average start curling over, well, the 160 start curling over, we are still in a bullish uptrend. Okay. I am gonna wait for the move. I am gonna see how we react coming into the 160 moving average. I do expect some kind of bounce and then some kind of retrace retracement back up into these areas. And then if we can take out the highs like always, we're gonna put in some higher highs, higher lows, and then start trending higher. But for now, for the next few days, the market is still bearish, but pay attention to what's happening in this area, guys. That's the area to watch on the cues. That is the key level right now that we are watching. And that's the range from 650 to 665. About a 15-point range that we need to watch. We're gonna see how the cues react in these levels. If we just slice through those levels and go sub 650, then we might be in trouble. But then these are the levels that could actually eventually act as support. Okay, so let's do a quick rundown of some stocks that's been going crazy. Nvidia, boy, Nvidia, this is a disappointment. Nvidia for the longest was trading in this um, inverted head and shoulder, failed, and now we're breaking down again. Tested 160, and now we're selling off. So naturally, if we do sell off, then this was the this was the channel that we've been trading into the downside. Briefly broke out, and now you want to watch because if this trend continue, we can head back down to the bottom of the channel, okay? Before we get some kind of bounce. And if we do head back down to the bottom of the channel, guess what? That's going to coincide with these levels over here that we were trading in last year, right? So it's not impossible that we trade back down into these levels because that's where we were for the for long. Let me zoom out for a bit. That's where we traded in for months in 2025, right? for months. We traded in this level. So it's not impossible, or it's not like beyond reasoning that we could just trade back down into this level and then trade sideways like we were doing for some time last year. Okay. So Nvidia was on watch over the 215 area, somewhere around here. It failed, so now no longer on watch. Now we're just waiting for the breakdown and see what happens from there. Amazon, Amazon is coming into this area right here that we need to watch. This was the previous low. If we break that, then man, we do have a gap to fill down here, and that will put us somewhere about 213, 215. So be careful on Amazon if we can't bounce. However, I do think we're gonna slice through here, and we're gonna close this gap right here. Unless earnings come out and it's some crazy beat, or they have some crazy news and we get some super big spike back up into this level right here. But even then, we still have to clear this level, clear these levels before we start trending higher, because we know that there is a lot of resistance up here. Okay, let's keep it moving. Oh, let's take a look at Apple, because Apple been holding up the stock market. I believe the stock market hasn't crashed more because Apple has been just such a beast. Look at this. Traded in this channel for a while. Boom, boom, boom. This is what Nvidia should have did. Broke out, test all-time highs. We struggled there for a bit, but then boom, exploded. Boom, pull back into the 20, and then took off again. Apple has just been such a beast, and it's just been such a beauty to watch. If you've been trading this, I mean, congrats, man. Congrats. I call this out here. Well, I did call this out right here once I saw the reversal. I was looking for some kind of break over here, retest. I didn't get the retest, so I definitely missed that trade. And I didn't take the retest of the all-time highs. The market was just too much. There's just too much going on in the market. But that is a beautiful setup, and that is a trade that I do look for. The break of the highs and the retest. That is a beautiful trade. Let's let's see what happened over here in Google. Google did sell off after earnings, and we did bounce. We didn't make it back down into these levels, but it's not too late, because the moving average, the 160 moving average, is curling over, and we're finding some resistance up here. The bulls are struggling right here. If we do break out, still we're not out of the woods yet. This could just be a gap close reversal before we get another leg down, lower to the downside. Um, what else should we look at? Um, this has been one that people have been watching for the longest, SpaceX. Um, man, I wouldn't touch this yet, but it is looking like, yeah, this is hard to call, man. There's no prior history on on the charts for me to even go into charting this. It's just ugly. It's not looking good. I'll just stay away from this until we start getting some more price action and some more history. Until then, that's it. Oil again. Oil again, man. Oil again. Oil definitely been trading pretty nice. We had these higher highs, took out that gap right there, spike, run into some resistance right there, pull back into the 20, and now we're moving higher. This is a continuation move. This is the break of the 160, the retest. Look how beautiful this is. We took off after we broke the 160, and then we ran right back into the 160, and we definitely ran into the 160 and the 20 moving average, which is like perfect. And this is double support right here. Okay, so you're gonna look for the continuation back up into these highs right here, and oh Lord, may God help us if we break over here, because that would mean oil is back over 100, and that would mean that there's a lot of talks of inflation and rate hike again, because energy is going to play a lot, well, it's going to play a big role in the CPI coming up. Okay, let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft is finding some support right here, and I'm not gonna say I'm in love with it, but I do like what's happening right here. We did broke out of the trend. We retest, right? The 20 moving average started curling. We took off to the upside. We did have some resistance up here. The same thing like what's happening over there in Amazon or what's happening over there in Nvidia. Retest. Oh, we failed. Retest the 20 moving average, and the 20 moving average is curling, and we're holding on to this area for dear life because the market is crashing. The market is well, tech is selling off, but Microsoft seemed to be holding up. And if you can get the break over here, I mean, I'm not sold yet because this 160 is not too far ahead, and that's another level of resistance. We could just trade back up into here and then roll right back over and then head back down here. So you want to see what happens once we start breaking the 160. You want to break the 160 and you want to see it start curling before we even get into this trade back up to the top of the range. Okay, let's keep it moving. Tesla. Oh my God, Tesla is just wouldn't want to. I wouldn't touch Tesla right now because there's two things going on right now. Because there is a divergence going on, and if you're not paying attention, this is selling off, and the MACD is trending higher. Even though it's in the negative territory, it is trending higher, which means that we could get some kind of downtrend. If we start rolling over again, we could possibly trade lower. Okay, only way is if this starts, start we get some like big spike like we've been getting on Tesla. If we get some big spike and then a pullback and then some continuation, then yeah, maybe Tesla is out. It's back to trading out usually trades. But as far as it looks right now, I'll just stay away from this, man. Look at this. This is in no man's land. There is some support in this area because we did trade like that last year, and we were in this area for some time. But look, we have lows down here at 220, 223. These are all lows that we can hit if Tesla start dropping or selling off. So pay attention and just stay away from it. Okay. SoFi, which the banks are running for a while, financials were running for a while, but SoFi sold off after earnings, and I mean, it did find some support right here. I'm not gonna lie. This is support. Yikes. This is support right here. All right. So what you want to see is this support needs to hold for a move back up to the top of the range because it's been trading in this range for some time now. We are at the bottom of the range. If we continue to sell off, which I don't think SoFi is going to sell off, especially if we're going to get if oil is running and we start getting the Fed starts scaring the market with the interest rates and all this, I think SoFi could move a little bit higher. Um, what else can we look at? Palantir. Yikes. Palantir again. Probably wouldn't touch this. This is still trending lower. I still see the overall trend in Palantir is just down. Okay. So until we start trading higher, breaking out of these levels right here, put in some higher highs, 120 start curling. This is a no-go. Wouldn't even look at that. Let's look at the semiconductor ETF SMH. I mean, naturally the Qs are selling off, so this is gonna be dumping also. Okay. However, like the Qs, the 160 is trending higher, so you're gonna look for a move down into that level, and at that point you want to see some kind of bounce, some kind of maybe pullback, and then hold like a higher low and a push higher if the trend is gonna change. But if we do get something like this where we push down here, try to bounce and we can't, and we start selling off, then the 160 is going to curl. We're going to probably get some kind of retest, and then bam, we could be back into the 380s, 385, and we could even close this gap right here. Right, that is a possibility. That's going to be about 400. Right now we're at 511, so that's pretty substantial downtrend or downside. that we need to watch. Okay, take a look at the SPY. Again, like everything else, SPY is bearish. I haven't liked the SPY for a while now, and I even hate it even more now, right? Failed to break over this level. We haven't hit the bottom of the range yet, like what happened over there in the Qs. So these are the levels that we need to watch. I do believe we test back down here. Haven't liked the price action over here for a while. The 20 looks like it's turning bearish. MACD is also looking pretty like it's rolling over. So if the bears keep applying pressure to the SPY, I could see us trading down here going into next week. All right. Anyways, that's it for today. I don't want to make this video too long. If you want to follow me, it's fine. If you don't want to follow me, it's fine. If you don't like what I'm saying, also fine. But that's just my take on the market right now. We are in an overall bullish trend, but the short-term trend is bearish until further notice. Okay. With that being said, like and subscribe. I'm out.